Hello, class. This is Anna Hernandez, and I did my restaurant analysis on Fogo de Chao. For some of you guys that might not know, Fogo de Chao is a southern Brazilian steakhouse, and they specialize in the churrasco experience. What that means is that guests can come in and enjoy multiple cuts of meats that are brought tableside straight from the grill to the guest. And that's really why Fogo has gained such popularity and why they are loved by their guests because it's more of a culinary experience rather than a restaurant experience or traditional restaurant experience. For my report, I did concept, location, and design, as well as menu development and management. For my project, I interviewed Giovanni, who is a manager at a location in Thousand Oaks, California, but but he has been with Fogo de Chao for over 10 years, so he has been to multiple locations, but he originally worked in the Beverly Hills location, which was the first location that first opened in California and the United States at Fogo de Chao. Fogo de Chao now has many destinations nationwide here in the United States. As their popularity increased, they started expanding. And so now they have locations in places like Mexico City, Dubai, Hong Kong, and they are looking to open a location in Turkey. And so they are really becoming an international restaurant, which is actually not very common besides the fast food chain restaurants that we see here in America that go overseas. But Fogo de Chao has been very committed into expanding their southern Brazilian hospitality and cuisine and kind of expanding it all over the world. What I found very unique about Fogo de Chao is that they bring their team members that have worked in their location in Brazil and they bring them here on visas to the United States to work and to teach others the true the gaucho practice. And what a gaucho is for Fogo de Chao is technically the definition is a southern cowboy, but why they stick to that terminology is because the gaucho was the one that would hunt the meat back in the days, and then they would clean it, and then they would fire roast it outdoors by a campsite, and they would share it family style. And so that is where the concept of Fogo de Chao is coming from. They want to expand that tradition and they're very passionate about that because they even have special knives and special techniques to marinate the meat. Obviously they're not going out there to hunt it anymore, but they're very picky about the meat selection and the quality of the meats that they're serving because they are still cooking it in open flames and serving it traditionally like they would back in the days when this tradition originally started. Fogo de Chao has had much success in really bringing that concept to life here in restaurants. They are very devoted into bringing that southern hospitality of Brazil. Most of their staff, I noticed, and Giovanni shared with me that the majority of them are Brazilian, and that's not by coincidence because, like I mentioned, they are bringing employees from Brazil to operate the restaurants. What I found very interesting about my analysis is that the locations that Fogo de Chao are selecting are not by coincidence. Of course, they do their research as the text suggests that, location is everything because Fogo de Chao is, they qualify themselves as a five-star experience. They do look for locations where there's more of an affluent guest, a guest that is looking for more of an experience, and that's why they've gained such success. Right now, their dinner experience is approximately $75, and that includes the market table and the full churrasco experience. So it's not something that is affordable for some, but it's also not one of the most expensive steakhouse experiences that are out there in the market. So their concept is unique, and also it brings a lot of cultural background to their practice. So that was what was fascinating about, researching them and getting to see and experience the way they operate. Well, I was talking to Giovanni, and I had to come to the restaurant a few times because, as a restaurant manager, he didn't have that much time to really sit with me and answer all of the questions. I felt like he was very passionate about what he did, and he wanted to make sure that I understood the concept. And while I was observing, and what he explained is that, Foco de Chao's concept and design is not like a normal restaurant because they're not plating anyone's dinner. Although you have an array of options, you can choose from fish to steak to chicken, pork. You could even do vegetarian or vegan at the restaurant. They feel like they're at an advantage because the guest is coming in, going to the salad bar and commencing their experience and exploring many different dishes and flavors. And their menu does portray that as it's centered right in the center of the menu, and that's what they promote the most, the full churrasco experience. They do have other options in their menu. For example, they have like branzino fish that you could just you that will be plated for you, or if you wanted a wagyu steak, that's also a plated option. And they do have other options that is not like the unlimited service. So it was very interesting to see how they are trying to cater. However, they're very centered and just offering the churrasco experience. Um, it was really nice to hear from someone that has so much experience like Giovanni, working there for over 10 years, and hearing how they work really hard on keeping those traditions of how they cook the meat, on how they serve the meat alive, and they're not trying to change it because it is a practice. It is a cultural practice that they have in Brazil that they're bringing here to their restaurant. So it's not something that they're looking to change. So far, the chain has been very successful, and they are not looking to change much about it. It seems like their guests are really enjoying it. So, in that sense, I did feel like that was something very different, as they have not been changing their menus or their options very often. And so I feel like they really have mastered what they're offering because their guests keep coming back. And I mean, I guess a sign of success for them has been their rapid expansion from one location in Beverly Hills. Then they open a location in downtown Los Angeles, and now they're everywhere. They have multiple locations in California. They opened a location in Northern California in Emerville a few years back. I know there's a location in San Francisco and in San Jose, and they're in Chicago, New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, Las Vegas is one of their biggest restaurants. So for them, I feel like sticking to that one concept and they've mastered that one menu item, which in reality is like access to pretty much everything that they offer, has been really, really lucrative for them. The aesthetics of the restaurant are very upscale. The restaurant is very beautiful. The even the plates, the knives, the forks, they're very, very nice, and they are designed specifically for Fogo de Chao, which is it's really nice to see. I also had I was invited to have lunch with Giovanni as well, and their food is absolutely amazing. Truly an experience more than a. It's truly a dining experience because you get to really try a little bit of everything, and everybody that comes around tells you, "Oh, this chicken is marinated with Brazilian spices." And then they just walk you through the whole process. So you're constantly interacting, you're constantly listening to what they prepare and just what type of meat it is. So it's a really an amazing experience. I highly encourage you guys to try it out. Um, this assignment was very useful because it really opened my eyes as to so many moving parts that a restaurant has to do in order to operate. And the management team looked like they really had it down because you could just see every single employee just circulating and making sure that everybody was taken care of, making sure that all the cuts of meats were circulating around the restaurant. So it was really, really amazing to see a restaurant function and see it and discover its expansions and how truly they adapted their concept and design throughout their chain to stay successful and stay relevant, really, because a lot of restaurants do die out, as we found out through this course, but it doesn't seem the case for them. They are looking to expand further, and they are really pushing for success. Their newest location is due to open at the beginning of the year, and that's it's going to be in Santa Monica. So I was very honored to have researched them and dine with them. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I wish you all the best of luck in this semester and the next. Thank you so much.